Hey guys, and what's going on? Tyrauku here, and today is clan versus clan, which basically means today is the day where if you've been looking to invest in any champion, basically play the game, today and tomorrow, so during this clan versus clan time, is the time where you can play the game, okay? So we're a little behind right now, but we're hopefully going to catch up here soon. But either way, basically what I like to do during clan versus clan is take some of the content creator perks that I've got and invest into some champions who I may never invest into before. So show you guys some videos on champions who maybe you don't know how good they are. There's actually not very many video guides on this champion that we're doing today, we're talking about. So I've actually seen a lot of comments across YouTube asking people to try him out. So I figured, hey, I might as well go ahead and build him, try him out, because this is a champion, like I said, not a lot of content, a little bit underrated. We'll see how underrated, but under talked about for sure. So maybe people will be a little hesitant to actually invest resources into. So that's what I'm doing today. And I have a few others I'm going to work on, but if you have any champion you want me to invest in, try to build up, if I have that champion, I'll definitely do it. Leave it in the comment section below. Bullies, sister militants, we can do that as well. But let's take a look at Judge's skill kit. Okay, so his A1 ability, he's a rare champion. So going to be pretty easy to book if you have, well, obviously if you have rare books, but also because you can get them from mystery shards. If you pull in very many ancient shards, you'll probably have a few copies of Judge. I don't think he's available from anywhere in the campaign, but actually let's go ahead and check this real quick, okay? So if you go in here, you can actually see where champions are available from, like their drops. Okay, so just from summoning. So from summoning. Some of these rares are from the campaign as well. But with Judge, let's take a look at his abilities, okay? Now, skills, his A1 ability, attacks one enemy, damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target, stacking up to a maximum of 100%. Obviously, this is going to require quite a bit of setup for it to actually work. Now, I did test this out. It's fairly hard. I'll show you guys an example in Dragon. I'm not going to deck him out in like Savage or anything like that. This stun set, I think, is the best set for him, and I actually may need to level this up. His A2 ability attacks all enemies 2 times, fills the turn meter by 10% for each critical hit. So obviously, if it attacks all enemies 2 times, you're essentially getting 20% turn meter boost for each rotation of this. Assuming you have a 100% crit rate, you're going to be critting on both those hits. Assuming also it's not Force Affinity champions. If it's Force Affinity, you have a chance of weak hitting, and you can't crit on a weak hit. So if there are 5 enemies on the enemy team, and you hit them all, each one's a crit, you're going to get 100% turn meter, meaning you're going to basically get a turn back to back. Now, if looking at his passive ability, with each hit, has a 30% chance of placing 50% decrease accuracy, which these are all the big versions: decrease accuracy, decrease speed, decrease attack, and decrease defense for 1 turn. So this is a very good ability. Now, a few things about this, okay? So he also has the aura, increases ally accuracy in all battles by 30. With the addition of perception sets and things like that, I don't think this is huge, but if you're running a dungeon where you don't have a champion who has an aura for dungeons or for arena or for campaign, not really for arena, because this would basically be useless, but you could always throw them in the lead spot and get the benefit from that aura because it's in all battles. So keep that in mind. Actually, even clan boss, if you really wanted to, though, I wouldn't necessarily bring him into clan boss, but depends on where your account's at, right? Now for the masteries, I went ahead and got War Master down here at the bottom. You should be able to see this pretty decent. I got War Master because I noticed he doesn't do a ton of damage, even how I have him built. And I think War Master is probably going to give a little bit more damage output on things like the dragon, the boss, possibly on the clan boss if you wanted to bring him there. And then on the waves, depending on how far you are along, because this does damage based on the percentage of the enemy's max HP, right? So most people I think are going to get good benefit from War Master versus things like Helm Smasher or Flawless Execution. You wouldn't go Giant Slayer because Giant Slayer is typically more beneficial if you have an ability that hits more than or equal to 3 times. But the most important thing, in my opinion at least, is a support tree over here, okay? So this is all going to increase his chance to actually place the debuffs. You need accuracy on this champion. And then down here you have this, which increases the chances of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts, which the stun set, it won't be any percentage change affected from that, but the passive ability, which works on both hits of the A2 plus on the hits of the A1, this will be benefited, okay? So with each hit has a 35% chance, that's going to be boosted to, I would assume, 35% chance, okay? Each hit will have an additional percentage chance to apply those debuffs from the passive ability, which is very, very nice, of course. Apply more debuffs, always better. Now, each one of the debuffs are only 1 turn, but if you run Master Hexer, we'll have a 30% chance to extend the duration of any debuff cast by this champion by 1 turn. Now, Looking at a little, let's zoom back on Judge. Why would you actually even build him? Well, he's a rare attack champion, so he does decent in the secret room, potentially. I did try to run him in the secret room in Doom Tower earlier, and my team's not very good. Like, I'll give you guys an example, okay? Honestly, it's just, I think it's secret room 8. Nope, maybe it's secret room 9. Honestly, I don't do the rare attack room because it's so annoying, but this is the team I brought, okay? Actually, I pre-saved it. I got to get some shield sets. I got to get something going here because right now this team just basically flops. Now, Judge does good on his first turn. He gets 100% turn meter boost, okay? Back to back, okay? Basically, it makes that A2 ability. What is it, a 3-turn cooldown typically? Now it's basically a 2-turn cooldown. You attack with the A1 twice and you're back around to that AoE ability. Have him in the stun set, and he works out for pretty good control. I mean, we have a decreased speed, decreased defense, decreased speed, and a decreased accuracy on the enemy. Obviously, you can't pick and choose which one's applied, but you could apply 2 debuffs if you apply 1 on each of the 2 AoE hits. You just gotta get lucky, right? So here, maybe I get super lucky and apply stun sets to everybody. Probably not. This dude about to one-shot me, I bet. This one dude. This room is so annoying. Like, I gotta get a shield set on somebody, maybe a berserker, maybe even throw another Soulbound Bower, but obviously Soulbound Bower is the star of the show here. Maybe I need to make my people more tanky, but I gotta go through and re-gear this. But either way, my thoughts was that Judge, who places those debuffs at random, doesn't really matter which one, but any is more beneficial than none. And instead of investing in even more Soulbound Bowers, Judge actually kind of makes sense because Berserker, he's solid for these rooms. He's in a similar situation though, where his AoE ability isn't super frequent. Attacks all enemies 2 times, 4-turn cooldown, does get an extra turn on this ability if he kills somebody. But we're not talking about Berserker in this video. Either way, but Judge, I was looking for him for that, for like a later game experience and testing him out there. But as a champion who's likely going to be somebody who pulls him early game, possibly mid game, and wonders if they should build him, let's go into Dragons and test him out, okay? So as a CC control champion, I think he's decent. I don't think at all that he's top tier. I don't think he's amazing. And even honestly for the damage, he's not even amazing in that regard. On the Dragon, I got him to hit some decent numbers, but let's go ahead and see, okay? For a rare champion, he does hit decent. Now, I'll show you guys my gear and my stats in just a second so you can see kind of how to compare that. But I'm going to stack up some debuffs on these people. We'll hit with the A1 the first time just to see what kind of damage he does with his A1 ability. They have, let's see, this guy on the far right, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 debuffs, caps out at 10, right? So he hits him for 111,000. That's pretty serious damage. But I have increased attack, increased crit damage, all these debuffs, decreased defense, weaken. It's a little bit unrealistic, right? Most people who are running Judge aren't going to have all this set up. So his damage is going to be far less than what it is currently. So I think more so than gearing him as a damage dealer, he can definitely deal some damage. I think he has a lot more benefit being put into a stun set and being brought with the intention of maybe having high speed. You want 100% crit rate and you do want accuracy to be built into this champion. Applying your debuffs on the waves, you need about 200 accuracy if you're doing stage 20 of dungeons. Well, actually for the waves, you can use a little bit less accuracy, but it's pretty safe to get your champions geared about 10 times whatever the stage number is. So if it's stage 20, you want about 200 accuracy, so on and so forth. Stage 10, you want about 100 accuracy. So with Judge, obviously he's taking a dirt nap right now, but don't worry, we have Duchess who's going to bring him back. That's one thing, he's very squishy. So maybe if you're going to build him for a newer account, you're looking for a champion with decent CC, maybe for Dark Elves Faction Wars, if you want a champion like Judge for that, maybe your Dark Elves are kind of lacking, maybe invest in Judge, build him up. I would definitely put him in HP percentage chestplate. I currently have mine in an attack percent chestplate just to see what kind of damage he could do, but he is pretty squishy. We'll show you his stats. I'll show you his stats in just a second. He is pretty squishy, so you do got to keep that in mind. If you don't have any res champion, he's going to be hard to keep alive. But if you can keep him alive, he does have some good uses in getting him back around to the AoE ability, placing debuffs you may not have champions for. Like I said, though, it is random, but it could come in use for you. Now, the first hit is 16,000 damage. Okay, that's with 2 debuffs, no increased attack, no decreased defense, no weaken. 16,000 damage. That's not really anything at all. I don't know what the War Master hit for there. Probably like 3,000 or 4,000. But let's see what it looks like when he starts to stack up debuffs, okay? I'm going to try to get him stacked up to 10. Hopefully, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but here we go. We got a 68,000. So we're edging on a little bit harder hitting abilities, right? 68,000 is definitely nothing to scoff at. Some pretty decent damage, I would say. Let's see if we can crank out some more buffs, though. I would like to get all 10 there. He can apply a debuff, possibly. Nothing applied. Obviously, 30% chance per hit. Not the highest in the world, but let's see what we're looking at. Let's see if we can get another turn, maybe. Just a few seconds. I did do this a few times earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 debuffs now. Let's see, 98,000 with a 51,000 War Master. So the War Master is actually hitting about as hard, and it's going to be consistent, right? So 51,000 damage, very solid with the War Master for sure. I need to get back around to the decreased defense and weaken from Venus, and we should be able to see 10 debuffs up this time, right? Or close to it. Well, we have 1, 2. We have decreased defense, no weaken. Let's go ahead and see what we can get going here. 1, 2. We'll play the counting game in just a second, okay? Okay, here, back to his turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's see what Judge hits for. He has increased attack. He does not have increased crit damage. It was almost a perfect situation. Maybe I should have buffed it with Whirlum. I don't know if it was off cooldown, but either way, let's see the moment we've all been waiting for. See if Judge is worth it. 115,000 damage. I don't know. What do you guys think? 115,000 damage doesn't seem like anything insane. Well, let's see my gear, okay? Because earlier I had him geared with quite a bit of crit damage when I was testing him, but maybe I dropped it down. I don't know. Let's see. So his War Master was proccing for 51. His ability was proccing for not that much higher. Just now, it was less than the War Master. If you guys don't know, the War Master proc is that red number that appeared, obviously from Whirlum. That wasn't a War Master proc. That's just a non-crit hit, I do believe. But with him, whenever you get this red number below 19,000, I do believe that is the War Master proc happening. I don't know why it was so much lower that time. But yeah, that should be it. So 5,000. Okay, so 51,000 there. That should be the War Master hit the 51,000. We'll go ahead and we'll sell this piece. We don't really need it. Let's take a look at Judge's gear, see what his stats are looking like exactly. And then I'll give you my final opinions on this champion. So we're looking at 231% crit damage, 101 crit rate, 3,900 attack, 1,300 defense, very, very low HP, and good accuracy. Honestly, if you're a mid-game player, early game player, what I would do is I would push up his HP more. I wouldn't worry about his attack too much. I would keep his speed, keep him as fast as you can, give him good crit rate. And my goal would be to use him as a debuff champion, essentially, as much as I could, okay? If I didn't have a champion who could place decrease accuracy, decrease speed, decrease attack, decrease defense, if I had a more supportive type team, I would bring him. He'd be perfectly fine. Try to get him to rotate through his turns as quickly as possible. Have him do this A2 as often as possible. Get the mastery where he has an increased chance of placing those debuffs. And then hope that the Master Hexer lands so you get him all for 2 turns. So he can definitely start to build up a decent amount of debuffs on the enemy team, run him with a stun set, and you got an even better chance of controlling the enemy, right? So that's probably how I would build my Judge if I was looking for a more supportive, survivable, useful build. It doesn't seem to me, at least, that as far as a damage dealer, that he's very good. He's very squishy. So it's kind of hard to justify building him for damage when he is how he is. Let me go in here and see. Let's see what kind of damage he can do to El Gaius by itself. Who do we have for an increased attack? We have Brogni, all right? And then we have good old Judge, wherever this dude is. And this will be an arena test. Now, I don't think he's going to be very good in the arena, to be honest. I probably would never use him in the arena because arena is not very conducive to stacking a lot of debuffs, right? Like if you get 3 debuffs, that's great. Well, no decreased defense here, but let's see. You'd always want to use the AoE ability. I mean, a 9 and 8, right? That's nothing that good, okay? 9,000 and 8,000, meh, it's okay. Let me go in here real quick and see what Lydia would look like, decreased defense and weaken, because obviously my Madame Saris was a little bit too slow. We'll go ahead and use our arena refills. Today is CVC, so since it's CVC, you know, I can use my arena refills. Last night, I was just sitting in my bedroom with my wife, and I was playing some Raid, and I was going through doing some arena battles, and I said, crap, I can't be playing right now. I gotta wait for CVC tomorrow. So I had to put my phone down. And then a little bit later, I picked it up again, did an arena battle. I was like, no, I can't keep doing these arena battles because today is not CVC. So sorry, clan. I spent a few points before CVC actually happened. Let's see what he hits for this time. 25 and 25, so 50,000 damage. He's geared much more than like a player who would probably be using him more realistically in the arena, would probably have him geared for. So keep that in mind, okay? What was 25 and 25, so like 50,000 damage, I think is what it was. He did 57,000 damage total, so definitely not arena nuker. If any way I'd build him survivable and to be used as a crowd control type champion. Stun set, sleep set, provoke set, possibly. Though provoke, you have the issue of the enemy hitting you, and you don't really want them to hit you. So I think stun set is the best set to use for him. grab the Mastery to boost his chance of placing this debuff, and I think you can make Judge a useful champion. In Faction Wars, I think he's going to be useful. In Doom Tower Secret Room, especially if you don't want to invest in several Soulbound Bowyers, I think Judge could be useful there. As a campaign farmer, in this gear, he does pretty good, but I'm not going to lead it on and say that Judge is going to be a top-tier campaign farmer if his gear was significantly lower, because he's not going to be one-shotting everybody like this, right? I'm getting the benefit of the reduced cooldown for the Mastery. I should be. Well, earlier I did it, and he farmed this in 12 seconds. So I think more realistically would be like 30-second farm from him, just because if you're not one-shotting all these waves, it may take a little bit longer. But I mean, hey, if you can gear him like this, 17-second farm, it's not too bad. Which, if you're at this part of the game, you probably have a faster farmer. Hopefully, you have my favorite farmer, Fellhound. Fellhound 5-second campaign farming. But either way, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's any other champion who is overlooked, underused, or a champion you think is a hidden gem. I would definitely love to do a champion spotlight. Check them out. CVC right now, so I can build really whoever. So thank you all again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.